Everyone, my name is Nico and today we are trying out the brand new weapon, just like every other Friday on Splatoon 2. We are here talking to good old pal Shell. He's got a fine new weapon for us. We are ready to wield the Rapid Blaster Pro. It's a new, incredible ranged chamber system that delays ink oxidation. Doesn't that sound professional, folks? Basically, it's a lot like the Luna Blaster. If you match this range with the Toxic Mist, your opponents will curse your very existence. So you'll see it in the gameplay, but it has the Ink Storm, which is very good for technical aspects of the game. And y'all know, not to get technical, but I'm not the best at technical things. So we're gonna go straight to the lobby and try out this new weapon. And I'm pretty optimistic about this. So I'm going to talk about my feelings about this weapon while you look at this gameplay. If you enjoy this video, make sure to hit subscribe. Every Friday and Saturday that a new weapon in Splatoon 2 gets added, I record it and I film my full-on response to it and my thoughts. So here is the new weapon, and this new weapon is very good. It hits a lot like the Luna Blaster. If you are watching how the blast is shot, it visually looks a lot like the Luna Blaster does when it shoots. The Luna Blaster is a bit more wide and more powerful. The Luna Blaster a lot of times can just single-handedly, one blast can splat the opposing I almost said Pokemon, the opposing squid. Meanwhile, this weapon is not as strong as it, but as you can see, the shot itself is a lot more narrow, whereas the Luna Blaster is a lot more thin, or I'm sorry, a lot more like thick. It goes farther, it's wider, farther in terms of width, while this goes farther a lot more in terms of length. Look how far you can shoot this, and look how much you can splat people too. It's very powerful from afar, because you can literally just sit there camping on a tower, or far away from a splat zone, or far away from your Rainmaker, whoever has it, and you can just splat from afar very strongly. This does about, I would say, 2 splats and they're gone, and as you can see, the blast is pretty strong. Being able to shoot from so far away with such a big strength is a really good strength to have in a weapon. This weapon is also very mobile, and by that I mean this thing, you can kind of really quickly change directions of where you're shooting. It's very adaptable to situations. No matter what game mode you're playing, this thing will be able to really quickly just shoot ink. It's good at spreading ink. It's very good at just being on the go with your partners, shoot ink. It does the trick. It's one of those weapons that are very well rounded. You can splat people very easily with it. It has long range. It spreads ink well, it takes down people on a tower well, it splats zones really well, it spreads ink for your ink turf wars very well, it can easily splat the Rainmaker and destroy the Rainmaker bubble and pop it so it's on your side. This thing is very good at basically every situation. The only thing that I don't really like about it is it's not, although it's very well rounded, the negative about being well rounded is you're not really too great at any specific attribute. You know, this thing is good at splatting, it's good at spraying ink, it's good at everything, but it's not great at everything, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because it's so well rounded that it's definitely worth your use. But if you want to really specialize in something on your team, this doesn't really specialize in anything. It doesn't spread ink extremely well, it doesn't it doesn't get rid of a lot of people extremely well, it doesn't snipe and splat people from afar really well. It doesn't do a lot of things greatly, but it does everything well. And I like weapons that are well rounded like this. The only problem with them is when you're going into a team in random, you really don't know what everyone else is going to use, and this thing doesn't really specialize in something. But that's actually pretty positive when you go in for random, because you're never going to have something that is bad, you know, because this thing is so well rounded. It's more negative when you join in on more team-based things and you know what your teammates are using. This thing can't really specialize in something. Like, you'll need a sniper, you'll need a roller. This thing doesn't really have a role. Get it? Roll. This thing doesn't really have a strong position in any of those different categories. It's just kind of there. But aside from that, the thing looks nice. Like, I mean, like, the blast looks really cool when you shoot at it. You feel cool using it. It splats really good from afar. It can easily win you some games in Turf War or in Splat Zones or in Rainmaker or even in Tower Control. It's good at all different scenarios, and that's why this is a good weapon. I'm not done yet. There are some things I can still explain. I think this weapon is, in comparison, okay, the number one comparison you can make with this weapon is the Luna Blaster. And the Luna Blaster, in my opinion, is a great weapon. You can easily splat people. It does a ton of damage. It's short range, and it's not the best at like spraying ink, but it specializes in something. This is the more vague, well-rounded Luna Blaster. The Luna Blaster specializes in splatting. This doesn't really specialize in anything. It just kind of does everything well. It's like the Luna Blaster, but more well-rounded. And it's nice, you know, it really is nice. It's something that I think a lot of people can use. Personally, for me, I have more of a specialization. I really like splatting people, like with things like the Slosher. Not only the Slosher, but I like more like super technical things, like almost like the Umbrella. Like Splatbrella is so unique. I like unique weapons like that. And also something we have to bring up, of course, is the sub and special weapons. Not only what they are, but how they work with the weapon. We've seen in the last few weeks tons of new weapons coming with the new bubble blower. This does not have the bubble blower. This has the Ink Storm. Now, the Ink Storm I find is pretty nice with this thing because you can combine it really well with the sub, which is the I forgot what it's called. It's the one that slows things down. Basically, you slow people down, you throw your Ink Storm, the cloud goes over them, it starts splaying tons of ink over them, and then all you really need to do is hit them once, and they're gone. And especially in things like Splat Zones, you just throw that Ink Storm, and then they're a little weakened from the storm, and then you just need one little splat. And since you're so far ranged, it's really easy to do. Also, slowing people down is very good with this because, again, this does a pretty decent amount of damage, so slowing someone down, being able to easily splat them is always a positive. So I really do like the Ink Storm. I think it's one of my favorite, if not my absolute favorite, Ink Splatoon 2 specials. I don't know, I just think it's very strong, and it's very strong with this. So this is the new weapon. I really like it. I think it's well-rounded. It's not something I see myself using too much, but it's something that I think if you want just a nice, well-rounded weapon that can go and just pick up Splatoon 2 and play, this is really easy to use. It's not super hard at all. It's pretty simple. All you have to do is shoot, and it does a good amount of damage, range, and spreading of ink. So yeah, very well-rounded. I give this thing a B+, maybe an A-. I don't know. It's very weird for me to say like, oh, it's well-rounded, it's good at everything. Like, it should be even higher. But I think compare this weapon to things like something I like better, like the Slosher or the Custom Spider Shot Pro. I think it pales in comparison by a bit. So thanks for watching. More Splatoon 2 videos and DLC reviews. I do this every single Friday/Saturday, so make sure to subscribe to keep up, and I'll see you in the next video. Me out. Congratulations for making it to the end of this video. You can now watch this video or this other video. You can also hit the subscribe button right here. Thing I like to call binge watching, where you keep on watching videos until, well, your whole day is gone, but it's okay. I encourage it. I'll keep it secret between you and I. Have a good day.